My name is Jacob Boker with the Family Care Plan. Today we want to talk a little bit about senior relational health. What do you think of when you think about relational health? It's a relationship within the family. That's one of the most important things to us. Here at Family Care Plan, family is the most important thing. So today we're going to be talking about relational health. What is relational health? It's the health of the family and the relationships within it. So when you think about that, it's a little complicated because families themselves are a little bit complicated. So we want to try to break that down a little bit. We're going to take senior living and senior care and use that as an example. So your loved one starts going into assisted living, or maybe they're in-home care, potentially in hospice, and there could be some broken relationships or tension on the relationships of the family. For example, let's say that we have a mom that has 4 children, right? Maybe the 2 older children suffered some type of abuse when they were younger with the mom, or maybe a relationship that the mom was in. So that creates some tension, and then maybe she had 2 younger kids after that, but she was already out of that relationship. So maybe the 2 younger kids never really recognized or understood the abuse that went on with the older kids, but the 2 older kids have unforgiveness, they don't have a good relationship with their mom, and there's a lot of tension within the family dynamics themselves. But then the younger kids are still really good friends with their mom. They talk to her every day. They're there to help her. But one of the 2 younger kids actually lives 100 miles away, even though they talk to their mom every single day, and the other one lives next to their mom. Now the mom's going into assisted living, hospice, or has to have daily care come to her house to help her. Now there's tension because there could be animosity with one child thinking like, hey, I'm doing all the work, and maybe the other child who still has a good relationship with their mom, maybe is feeling like, well, I'm financially supporting, and isn't that good enough? And then the other child maybe isn't financially supporting enough, but they actually put in the time and the physical work, and now there's animosity between the children and the whole family. First of all comes unforgiveness, and with the 2 older ones, and then you have the 2 siblings that now start having animosity between them and their relationships. So how do we start to solve that? How do we look at that? And why would we want to fix that as the mom is getting older? Now that's an important part. Here at Family Care Plan, family is the number one thing. We don't want the mom to go into a state of decline to where her health is getting worse, and now the family's just breaking apart and nobody's talking, and there's all this unforgiveness, and there's all these problems within the family dynamics. So what do we start to do? First of all, we start talking and having an honest conversation with each one of the kids and the mom to see kind of where the dynamics of the family are in the first place. Secondly, maybe with the older ones that are struggling with the abuse that happened as a child, we start walking through the forgiveness process. The first part would be like, I forgive, which are the physical words of saying it, but that's not really letting it go. And then the second part of forgiveness would be the forgiving part. So you say the spoken words of forgiveness, but then you have forgiving, which is going through the process of actually forgiving maybe their mom or the relationship that she was in, or the things that happened to them. If it's some type of abuse, there could be mental, emotional, or even different types of abuse that could have occurred. So what we want to do is start breaking that down. So we walk them through the process. First forgive, let's talk about it. And then the forgiving, which is the process of doing it. And then at the end, what we want to get to is forgiven. So most people think, oh, I forgive, that's all I need to do. But the truth of the matter is there's a whole process to it. And really at the end of it, we want them to get to forgiven, because that means they're releasing it. And to tell you the truth, the forgiveness and the forgiving isn't really as much for the parent as it is for the child who's holding on to it, because they have to keep reliving that and keep reliving that and keep reliving that. And if the mom is going into decline and eventually may pass, we don't want them to hold on to that as a family unit or as a child, because once a parent passes, it's going to be hard to repair that relationship that there was or that there could have been. And we don't want it to be too late. So what we want to do is walk the older ones through the forgiveness process, and also open up communication between the parent and the child. But also with the younger ones, we want to open up communication, education, and also at the same time encouragement, because maybe one's living 100 miles away, which is fine, but they could still check in on the one that is physically doing the work. They could still participate in maybe some of the things that are going on. Maybe if there's grocery shopping, we live in 2024, so the beautiful thing about that is you could shop online, you could have groceries delivered, you could help in certain ways like that. So what we try to do is discover what dynamics are actually causing this conflict, and then what we try to do is walk you through and give you real life solutions to help you make it through some of the problems and conflicts and some of the family dynamics that you're dealing with. So at the end of the day, what we try to do is resolve a lot of those. So it's kind of hard when you have so many pieces of the puzzle going in different directions and so many emotions and feelings and people thinking this and animosity and abuse and different things that were involved in a relationship of a family. But at the end of the day, as the mom's health starts declining, we don't want unresolved problems or issues or anything just to be unsettled. We want to try to get to the root of those and then help the family heal. Not only heal as individuals, but heal as a family and become stronger together.